Fringe Radio, your trusted source for the paranormal, conspiracy theory, and true crime. Coming to you live from the Mistopheles Studios, it's Dark Fringe Radio.
I try to move, but my body won't work. I try to talk, but I lose all words. All that ever slips from my face are teeth and dreams I can't take. Waking from.
And welcome to another episode of Dark Fringe Radio. I am your host, Will Martinez, and of course here with my co-host, Jay Galosi. Jay, what is going on tonight?
What's going on, everyone? How are we doing?
Happy holidays, Jay. We're in the midst of almost the Christmas season here. Well, we're in the midst of the Christmas season, but almost close to that Christmas day. Jay's got the nice tree up there in the background. Very nice, Jay.
Sure do.
And
stuck that bitch in the back of the Mustang.
Yeah, so listen, we're doing the last couple episodes before the end of the year. We got this episode that we're going to be doing tonight, which is Secret Societies. It's actually fascinating, Jay, that out of the 138 episodes we've done in the past, we've never really done one.
Never even touched on this one.
Solely on Secret Societies.
No,
and us being a conspiracy theory podcast, you would think we would have hit that a lot earlier, but nonetheless, we're going to kind of peel back the onion, as they say, on a couple different societies that we've taken time to do some research on individually. So Jay tonight's going to be talking about the Freemasons. I will specifically speak about the Skull and Bones Society. So that's going to be the two items that we're going to be talking about tonight. But first, before we get into everything else, Jay, where can they listen to the podcast and listen to this wonderful show that we got going on here?
You can listen to our podcast, everyone, wherever you find your podcast. You can find us at Stitcher. You can find us on Spotify. You can find us at iHeartRadio, or you can really get it at its most purest. You can get it directly from the source. You can get it literally from the Will's mouth at darkfringeradio.com. Get it all there. You can get our merch. You can get our videos. You can follow up with us. You can see the outings that we've done, because we've done two of them to the same place where we lost one of our children. Anyways,
yes,
check that out. You can hear me being harassed by the police. Great stuff.
Yeah,
directly there at darkfringeradio.com.
Wonderful. That's perfect, Jay. Thanks so much. Couldn't said it better myself. So make sure you go to those, please, also social media sites, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, formerly Twitter, now X. And of course, you can watch the podcast directly, like Jay said, at Dark Fringe Radio. But if you so do choose to go onto YouTube, please like and subscribe us there as well. Give us a great rating. Leave us a comment. We love that stuff. I always answer back, so we're very responsive there. So please go ahead and do that as well. So tonight, Jay, before we get into the meat and bones, not the skull and bones, but the meat and
taters,
the meat and taters, as
meat taters
of the podcast. Let's get into some Dark Fringe news. You ready for some Dark Fringe news, brother?
I'm always ready for Dark Fringe news, dude.
Let's do this.
For 15 years, I've been trying to teach you how to write a lead. Do I have to do everything myself? Get the story, write the story?
We'll do it live. Fuck it.
I was looking at the James Brown wig.
Fucking thing sucks.
If that's your kind of thing, Maria, you love doing it yourself.
Sometimes, yeah. I can take a
Confucius say, I do not think the story had much validity.
All right, Jay. So
tonight,
I know it's classic, by this time. So it's a part of our fabric now, Jay.
It is.
So tonight got a couple of stories wanted to talk about, Jay, both international. So we're on the international tip tonight. And first thing I wanted to talk about was mysterious metal sphere lands in Mexico. So
Dios mío.
Exactly. So, Jay, do you remember that time? I think it was like 2 or 3 years ago, where all of a sudden you started seeing these monoliths, these like silver monoliths popping up everywhere. Remember that?
I do.
Yeah. So this is kind of like the same kind of thing. So I'm going to read you the story that's happening right out of Mexico. A strange mystery is currently unfolding in Mexico after a well-known meteorologist claimed that an odd metal sphere had fallen from the sky and was subsequently taken away by authorities. The very weird case reportedly began on Sunday night when a prominent weather personality, Isidro Cano Luna, took to social media with a photo of the puzzling orb sitting atop some vegetation. The meteorologist informed the followers that the curious object, which can be seen below, which we'll have a picture here showing up here shortly, had plummeted from the sky and landed atop of a tree in the city of Veracruz, Jay. So the weatherman went on to say that he witnessed the sphere, descending, and it just made a sound. It didn't really display any kind of fiery characteristics, but observing that the orb, it looks like almost plasticky and metally in the same way, like an alloy or some sort. But
plasticky and metally. Technical terms, friends.
Yeah,
Technical terms.
That's what he said. I mean, I know, very technical. But again, he's a meteorologist, not a a forensic, I guess, person who would know anything about those kind of orbs. But he also said there was an antenna coming out of it. So that I found that kind of interesting. And then he also said that there was some weird writing all over it. It looked like writing, but he wasn't sure because he couldn't make out what it actually meant. So very weird stuff. And then all of a sudden he said, he called the government and let them know what happened. Next thing you know, literally like within hours, they came and swooped in, took the orb or the sphere, and pretty much took it, and nobody wants to hear anything about it. Yeah. The
Mexican those monoliths like college kids?
Yeah, that was that ended up being a
hoax.
Yes, yeah. It was
like
a company that was doing that.
Weird prank.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
I know.
Really? All right. So it's a metally plasticky orb that fell somewhere in Mexico.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean,
right.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm thinking China.
And it's funny you say that. They said that it may have been part of a Chinese rocket, Jay.
Oh.
So there you go. Nice fucking nice fucking
I'm on
tag.
fire. I made a really great joke today about my dog should get their own pill caddy since they take so many damn pills. And I was just being a wise ass, but no lie. Within minutes, my wife showed me that she actually literally went and bought a pill caddy for the dogs.
You could actually get one of those, huh?
Boom.
Yeah,
2 for 2 tonight.
Crazy. You're 2 for 2 tonight, Jay. So they also said that it could have been part of a Chinese rocket. But then they're also skeptical of that because they said if it came from that high up in the atmosphere, they would have burns or some type of burn, coming in, because as anything would come in that fast, they would burn, right? There's nothing of that sort. So not even where it landed. That's what it said. So I don't know.
I mean,
again, I think we're dealing with some kind of hoaxers here.
It's possible. It's possible. I'm saying Sasquatch now. I'm just going to go completely weird. I'm going Sasquatch. Sasquatch was getting ready for the decathlon up there in upstate Washington. He got a little overzealous. He got a hold of some of that Barry Bonds stuff.
Yeah.
Hulked out a bit.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I'm thinking happened.
Double in size. Like nothing. Head gets like 10 times the bigger, all of a sudden, right? Starts cracking home runs like nothing, right?
It's possible. I mean,
it's possible. Right.
Have you seen Brock Lesnar's daughter? I know.
Oh my god.
She does the hammer throw.
Shot put. She got the. I think she broke the record for the shot put.
She sure did. All the way to Mexico.
That's what it was. It was her. It was Brock Lesnar's daughter. That's the orb, guys. We broke the fucking news right here. Dark Fringe Radio, right here. That's where it came from. It fucking came from Brock Lesnar's daughter. Kate, she looks like Brock Lesnar in drag.
Scary.
I'm sorry, it's so scary. It's so. I'm sorry to say that,
dude. No, she will break you in fucking two, Holmes.
She does look like she could do that. No problem.
Yeah. No, her dad's Brock Lesnar. No,
and her dad's Brock Lesnar.
Her dad's Brock Lesnar. Okay, listen. My daughter put a kid in an armbar when she was 6. I'm sure Brock Lesnar's daughter could snap the two of us in half simultaneously.
It's so amazing. She's so jacked. It's like unbelievable. But anyways, yeah, that's the story of the orb, Jay, in Mexico. Yeah. So we don't know. Thanks, don't Brock. Really understand. Yeah, thanks, Brock. So yeah, maybe that's what it was, Jay. We cracked the case on that. So next item for tonight, Jay, is a high school abandons. Well, let me back up. Okay, Jay, let's go back to Atlantic High School circa 1995, right?
I mean, it's not like I have the varsity jacket staring in my face right now.
Oh, I know. I'm sure you do. What would be one of the reasons why you wouldn't go to maybe biology class or science class?
Why wouldn't I go to biology or
Yeah.
science?
Right.
Personally?
Yeah, personally.
More often than not?
More often than
Because
not.
I gotten kicked out of the class.
That's fucking good. That's fucking good.
Also true.
Jay, it's also true.
It's also true.
Well, the same cannot be said for these kids in Zimbabwe, Jay, where there is a high school that abandoned its basically science lab because they say it's haunted.
Yeah.
Check this out. Science lab in high school in Zimbabwe has gone unused for 2 years because the students believe that it's haunted. The strangeness reportedly began back in 2016 when a science teacher at the school purportedly passed away after inhaling toxic gas due to a mishap in the lab. Since then, the man's, since that untimely demise of that man, both the students and the faculty there really refused to go into that area. They say that everybody that goes in the area starts having weird health issues. Things are just not right. They feel it right away. Specifically, the students say that they feel like an inexplicable itchiness upon entering the room. Like they start itching right away, and an unexplained shortness of breath. So,
mustard gas.
Mustard, yeah, that's what it seems like, right? Right. That's what it seemed like. And an area education official revealed that the preconceived or perceived curse, they say, Jay, on the science lab has taken a hold in the student body. Everybody thinks that if you go into the laboratory, that there's, a good chance that something's basically going to affect you in some way or form. She said that she had never had such an experience in the room. The official argued that the fears of the students and teachers are still are basically in their minds. So she's calling this maybe kind of like a mass psychosis. And so what they're trying to do is they're going to try to bring in a psychologist and really kind of talk to everybody and all the students and the faculty, kind of straighten this out mentally first. You know what I mean? And then they say if it doesn't work that way, they're going to bring in a shaman and do some exorcist stuff.
Have we tried airing it out?
Right?
It's that close for 2 years.
Right.
It's mustard gas.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, no,
I can only imagine milk smells pretty bad after a couple days.
Oh,
I can imagine what mustard gas after sitting there for 2 years. It's like the worst fart on planet, man.
It's horrible. But no, they said that they completely cleaned it once that incident happened. And so
sure they did.
I mean,
they did.
I mean, it's weird, Jay.
They don't get paid by the hour, William.
No, they don't. But do you think that somebody dying a certain way in an area maybe affects people that way too?
Well,
maybe, right?
Okay, we know my feelings on the what spirits can do on the afterlife. I no lie. Right before we started recording, sir. Right before, like 9:15.
Right.
My son's sitting next to me. I'm preparing, doing my thing.
Right.
My wife walks out from the kitchen to the garage. A little behind the scenes, everybody. I do my podcast in the garage.
It's all good. I like the background.
I make it look nice.
That's right.
Anyway, so she walks out and she doesn't close the door all the way.
Okay.
It's just kind of sitting slightly ajar.
Got you.
We heard a knock and the door shut.
I know who that is.
Yeah,
He's talked on the podcast here before.
I know. My dad is an attention whore. Man, one American Bandstand. I think we have figured out that the man knows how to, right?
To entertain, right?
He was cool like James Dean. The man would never say 2 words. He was quiet and solemn. But if there was music, the guy ruled every room he walked into. He was the most charming man on the planet. Yes, of course he's fucking with me. That's what he does.
It's great. I love it. It's fucking great. Well, yeah, Jay, students in Zimbabwe won't go to fucking science class because they're going to get like some kind of possessed, itchiness and fucking pass out and shortness of breath and all this shit.
Allergies to schoolwork, homie.
I mean, that's a great excuse not to go to science lab.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm sorry. Died in there.
Sorry.
I'm not going in there.
The power of Christ compels me. I can't.
I can't. I literally can't.
Sorry. I can't.
Yeah. Oh, Jay. Well, that's great. Listen, that's a wrap for Dark Fringe news for tonight,
Oh,
Jay.
wait.
What happened? What happened?
Did you hear
Okay.
that Voyager 1 has stopped communicating with Earth?
No, I did not.
Yeah, it just happened yesterday.
Really?
It finally has either reached so far that it can't gain enough power to send its signal, or it is powered down and is no longer sending a signal. But
Interesting.
it is official as of yesterday. Voyager 1 is no longer sending a signal to Earth. So kind of sad. Salute to Voyager, but I want to make sure that I felt like that was appropriate for Dark Fringe News.
Absolutely. That's a great thing. I didn't even know that. I wish I would have known that. I would have totally entwined it. Yeah, totally entwined it with Dark Fringe News for tonight. But thanks for bringing that up, Jay. I had no idea. That's fucking crazy. I mean, that's something that we do pretty much our whole entire life that, was out there collecting data, constantly.
Yeah. It's crazy to think that it's because it's been out there our entire lives. I never imagined that it would go so far that we would lose contact with it. That was always the thing. But as we've gotten older, we knew that day was coming. So to actually be there, it's strange.
It is
strange. Very different world we live in now.
Oh, it sure is, Jay. Unfortunately, yeah. But okay. Well, that's a great wrap up then, Jay, for Dark Fringe News. That's going to bring us next to one of our favorite topics, our segments here at Dark Fringe Radio. Jay, what the F, Florida man? Jay, you ready for some of that?
Oh, I'm always ready for what the F, Florida man.
Let's do it.
Florida man.
A Florida man. A Florida man.
A Florida man.
Now to the town of Seffner, Florida, near Tampa, where last night the earth opened up as it does increasingly, and this time it swallowed a 37-year-old man as he slept in his home.
A man accused of destroying a liquor store in Okaloosa County told police he was in Alice in Wonderland. Matthew Horace Jones also said a caterpillar smoking a hookah told him to do it.
A man calls 911 while Collier County Sheriff's deputies are...
You might be a redneck if your middle name is Horace.
Chasing him, and he says Donald Trump, our president, is his personal friend, a close one at that.
A Lake Worth man is not too happy. He's accused of getting violent when waiters at a restaurant told him they weren't giving away free pizza.
Covering Florida this morning, a Key West man is behind bars. Investigators say he was caught with a large amount of cocaine hidden in this Cookie Monster doll.
Holy shit!
All right.
You might be from Florida if you have a Cookie Monster doll full of cocaine.
Full of cocaine. Yeah, there you go.
Cocaine.
That's fucking great. Jay, what do you have for us this week for What the F, Florida man?
Florida man hurls sausages, multiple, at older brother during disagreement, according to police.
Okay, let's hear this. It's a lot of sausage throwing.
I mean, listen.
You got it, slang it.
Apparently, it was a little bit of a dick swinging contest.
It sounds like it.
They're getting all
That's if you hit him in the mouth.
Check this shit.
Oh,
60-year-old brat.
60.
60.
Oh.
The younger brother is 60.
Wow.
A 60-year-old, quotes, brat in Florida is facing charges after he hurled sausages at his older brother, police said. According to the arrest affidavit in Pinellas County Police Department, 60-year-old Ray Allen got into a heated argument with his older brother in their backyard of a St. Petersburg home. I need to slow my mouth down, apparently. All this happening on Saturday, December 2nd. Allen said police said that Allen hurled the sausages directly towards his brother at the right side of his face. After the local authorities arrived, they quickly broke up the feuding brothers, arresting Allen, where EMS then used saline to wash out the victim's eyes.
Hey, do you know what Allen said right after he threw the sausage?
These nuts. Spider-Man!
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, I just...
Wow. So brother on brother crime here.
Brother and brother
assault.
crime. Assault with a deadly sausage.
Oh, man. Don't tase me, bro. Wow. Man.
Wow. Yeah.
So,
what can you say? I mean, it's just really...
How much older was his brother? Did they say or no?
They did not say how old the older brother was.
Okay.
But
because if he was like 80, that would have been pretty fucked up. You know what I mean? Like a 60-year-old fucking up an 80-year-old But if he was more like 65, that's more closer to me.
I mean, they're probably closer.
Not so bad in my book.
They're probably closer. Well, I mean, listen. Let's be real. You're 60. You're not so old that you can't throw hands at your brother.
That's right.
I'm not saying you want to go really get into a mix up in a bar with a 20-year-old, but it's your
right.
older brother.
Yeah. You think you could have a little bit of an upper hand on that one, right? Wow. Well,
ask my older brothers.
Well, not surprising, out of Pinellas County, which is in Tampa and the St. Petersburg area, of course. Jay, wow, amazing story. Did he? How much time did he get? I mean, did they say anything like that?
It was just an overnight because they said that there was alcohol involved.
There it is. Good old alcohol.
Someone was a little drunk at the barbecue.
See? Shit
Talk
like
a little
that
shit about them Tampon Bay Yuccaneers. Well, don't call them Tampon Bay Yuccaneers. What's funny is actually I don't think that sounds like either one of them because I'm
no.
Yeah, no.
Well, Ray Allen.
No, it does not. No, it does not.
No, okay.
I will promise you.
No, okay.
I'm pretty sure.
You're pretty sure?
I'm pretty sure.
Okay. Well, Jay, I mean, great story coming out of Pinellas County. Thanks so much for the sausage on sausage crime there. Jeez, wow. But not surprising coming out of Florida. So thank you so much, Jay.
It was a sausage to talk about now. It's about one. Terrible. Cut it. Terrible.
No. That's a
numbers game. Okay. It's a numbers game. All right.
That's what that is, brother.
It's a numbers game. Listen, we've already talked about me getting tossed out of classrooms. That was laughs. Okay. It can't all be gold, baby. It can't all be gold.
That's true. That's true. All right. Well, Jay, thanks so much for that rendition or what
audition.
Of course. Audition of
what the Florida man?
What the F Florida man? What the F Florida man? Jesus Christ.
What the F public schools in Florida, apparently, because that's what Bird does. So what the Florida man?
The Florida man. What the F Florida man? Well, Jay, thanks so much for that. And that's of course going to bring us to our main topic for tonight, which we'll be talking about secret societies and how they ruled the world. But yeah, seriously, we're going to be talking about the Freemasons and of course the Skull and Bones. So we're going to get into that here in a second. So please don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Have you ever wondered what lies beyond the forest? Or if the screams of the children were real or just your imagination? Spirits and entities share this plane of existence with us. There is only one place to find the answers you're looking for. Dark Fringe Radio, your premier source for the paranormal, conspiracy theory, and true crime.
Welcome back, everybody, to Dark Fringe Radio. I am your host, Will Martinez, of course, here with Jay Galosi, and we are going to be talking about some secret societies. And this is, don't say nothing. This is probably one of the most important or most talked about items in the conspiracy theory realm.
Is it?
I want to say, I mean, of course, besides, UFOs, aliens, and ghosts, and all that stuff.
It's a secret, William. Nobody's supposed to be talking about it. It's like Fight Club.
I know. You can't say anything about it. But
you can't talk about it.
And some of them are more secret than others. It's really weird. When I started doing some research. Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Are they? How secret is it if I can find out information on this stuff on Google very quickly? So it's just like, how much of it is really out there, and how much they want to put out there. It's really important. Some of them are very open and are, really don't care about, letting information out there about what they're about and what they do. But then there are some that are more secretive, and we'll be talking about those.
Ominous
tone. And we'll talk about how these secret societies kind of, taper in with, the conspiracy theory side of, how they like to control the masses and have control over certain powers to be. But tonight we'll start off with Jay, and Jay's going to be talking about the Freemasons. Jay, guide us.
Take it away.
Tell us about the Freemasons.
Your poet didn't know it, William.
There you go. I know.
So Freemasons.
Yes.
William, the Freemasons. You've heard about the Freemasons, the secret society that we've all heard about. The
Yes, I
secret
have.
society that our country is built upon.
Mm-hmm.
And that's historical fact, friends. You can't get away from that shit.
Nope. It's on the dollar bill. It's on the
That's
dollar
true.
bill.
Now, do you know how far back they go, though, William?
I kind of have an idea. I think it does go back to the Knights Templar, but I think you might correct me.
It goes back farther. It goes back before Jesus, sir.
Oh, okay. So pre-Jesus.
So it goes back pre-Jesus.
Okay.
The Freemasons are actually built upon the story of the Pharaoh's son. His name was Hiram Biff. Okay, Hiram Biff was the architect of the Temple of Solomon. Okay, Solomon being the holder and keeper of the tablets with the Ten Commandments. You know that guy?
Yep, very important.
Nobody important. Nothing big there.
Yeah,
So his
important.
palace was said to hold that. Eventually, it would end up holding the Holy Grail. It would end up holding the Dead Sea Scrolls, things like that. You know, nothing major.
No.
The temple was designed by this Hiram Biff, who was the Pharaoh's son. He was known as the Grand Architect, which is a strong theme all throughout the Freemasonry and the whole Masonry. That word masonry, it's all about
building
blocks. It's all about wood, not wood, stone and building and using stone and geometry and how to utilize that mathematic to speak directly to God. Now, the story goes about this Hiram Biff that he was grand architect of Solomon's temple, and as the temple was being built, all the Masons wanted to understand the secret. They wanted to know the secret and how to talk directly to God.
Right.
And he said that he wasn't going to get the secret until the completion of the project. But one day, three Masons through the lower levels were determined to get it out of him one way or another, and they all three basically attacked him in three different stages, ultimately leading to his death. He never got the secret. Now that's important to my feelings on it, but we'll come back around to that. So,
of course,
he dies never getting the secret. Interesting, right?
Very interesting.
But just to build these temples and to do this, everything had to be written down. There had to be certain things followed. And I believe that is where the root of the Freemasons is built on. They actually have a ritual going through for kind of a rite of passage, if you will, as a lot of these things do, right?
Right, of course.
What stuff I hear.
Right.
So
we'll talk about that later.
That's what she said. So terrible. So anyways, as you are going through your acceptance process, you actually they walk you back through this Hiram Biff's assassination, where the three people come out and one hits him over the head, one cuts him with a stone, and finally I think one pulled out his liver or something. So, but then that person dies in the ritual, and then when they're lifted up, they're being brought back as now they're being reborn as a Freemason. And some of the things that kind of goes along with this, really, if you when you start kind of looking into it, there's some really interesting parallels. I can't say it's all real. You know me, I'm a bit of a skeptic.
Yeah, you're a skeptic.
But I always look for patterns, because patterns are what tell you the truth. And I find it interesting. So you have this ritual that predates Jesus.
Right. That says a lot.
They're still doing it in lodges today.
Jay, is it true? They say like the ceremony and of course the ascension of different levels, and the highest level being the 33rd. They say a lot of it has a lot of satanic background. Is that true or no?
So that's very interesting you bring that up. That is a misinterpretation. There's one text with one paragraph that talks about Lucifer.
Okay.
And in this case, in this context that they're talking about Lucifer, they're actually talking about light bringer. It translates directly to light bringer, which is talking about Venus, which the astral map that leads with Venus in the middle is in every Freemason, in the roof of every Freemason lodge. So they very much believe in Venus and the bringing of the light. It's fascinating because the whole thing is kind of built on alchemy and science and trying to figure out just exactly where that magic lies, but trying to figure out using geometry and building and getting so intimate with what you're building and doing that through that you're able to speak to God. And that's kind of the secret that they go about it. So when you start talking about like Lucifer, when they're talking about light bringers and Venus, they really are talking about like mapping stars and things. But because they're a secret society,
that's what kind of gives them that negative connotation,
right? Why, if it's so innocent, why does it have to be such a secret?
Right. Yeah. That's an interesting point, Jay. I mean, and then you just automatically get painted with that color of okay, it's some kind of nefarious Satanist cult, and
I mean, now, and so to be real, right? So let's continue following this path, right? We start with the Pharaoh's son. Now, this is where the Knights Templar come in, right? So hundreds of years go by, and Solomon's palace has been broken down and has actually been rebuilt upon by mostly Jewish, by mostly Jewish heritage. I don't know why I'm having so much trouble just saying Jews. It's built by the Jews. I don't know why I'm chosen by proxy. My wife is Jewish. So anyways, I don't know why I'm having so much trouble with that. Either which way. So the Knights Templar, actually contracted and decided to go into very specifically this portion of the Jewish temples, what was known as Solomon's stables, which is where they were where all the Jews kept their horses. So what ended up happening is the Knights Templar did it supposedly, again, theory goes, to get Solomon's treasure, where they found the Holy Grail and the
Sea Scrolls and all that.
Sea Scrolls and so on and so forth, the commandment stones, which is really what I believe the commandment stones are kind of what it all leads back around to, majorly for the Masons specifically.
Okay.
Because they, if you also follow, they're not, them in Christianity, them in Catholicism, they run kind of anti-intuitive to each other.
Right. Yeah.
If you look, America really kind of is the holy ground of the Masons versus Christianity.
Yeah, the Masons were here long before the Christians were.
They sure were. The Knights Templar.
Yeah.
And this is where it kind of comes to, right? So Knights Templar find King Solomon's tomb. They find all these things which talk about these rituals that they did back with the Pharaoh's son. Again, he was doing it to be able to speak to God. Like him and Solomon seemed to be able to speak to God directly. That was kind of the whole thing about it. So Solomon's secret was to be able to speak directly to God, and that was kind of what seems like everybody's after. Now, the Knights Templar came across it, were realizing that religion and spirituality aren't so different. And religion and science aren't so different as long as you are open-minded to exactly what everything means and find a way to utilize it to understand to a higher power or to a deeper.
Right.
There's a higher power. Nothing happens by accident.
It's a deeper understanding of,
100%. And that is what everybody's after. But along the way, that story gets diluted, right?
Right. And I can see
the Knights
that.
Templar, they take it. Now they're using it to build a mass wealth. They take that wealth and they become essentially was the first international banking system. They come up with their own set of currency. They're their own backing. They have their own insurance. They really were the first international company of any sort. And once they amass wealth, they amass power. Once they amass power, you become a target.
Mm-hmm.
And the King of France decided that he did not want to compete with the Knights Templar any longer. So he sent a regiment directly to them. He rounded up all pretty much the heads of the Knight Templar and had them all murdered.
On Friday the 13th.
On Friday the 13th. Weird, huh?
Yeah, that's where the whole legend of Friday the 13th comes from. Actually,
that is correct.
That's where it's derived from that.
That is correct. I'm glad you brought that up because actually I found that to be terribly interesting, but there was so much other that I ended up that I'm so deep with that I forgot all about the fact that happened on Friday the 13th. The Knights Templar were murdered in their temple on Friday the 13th.
Yep. It's crazy shit.
Crazy shit by a fanatic Catholic French king.
Right.
Weird.
Very weird, huh?
Weird, huh? Strange. Now, the part that gets missed, though, right? They had already started building buildings. They had already started to spread, and this is where you start getting those levels, right?
Right.
They start talking about the levels of ascension in Freemasonry, and there's 3 levels of it, and it kind of goes back to the three assassins of the Pharaoh's son. But the Pharaoh's son never got the secret. So if the Knights Templar came across the secret, they never shared it with any of the Masons. But to build all their temples, to utilize the stone the way they did, they had to teach them the geometry. They had to teach them the belief systems to it, and they had to walk them through the process.
That's sacred geometry, as they call it.
It sure is. It sure is. Of the Grand Architect?
Of the Grand Architect. Are we in the Matrix?
They call that Pharaoh's son.
What the hell is going on? Are we living in a simulation? What's going on here?
I was watching that thing on Metal Gear Solid 2 the other day, and this is certainly not helping me. Not helping.
It's not helping, right? Yeah.
Not helping.
I get it. Yeah. No, it's interesting, Jay, because you talk about the ascension, you talk about all that, and the sacred geometry and having that knowledge and gaining that knowledge through the ascension, going up. It's funny because every Freemason that I've ever met is always at the 32nd level. They're always
right at the third, right?
Never at the 33rd.
So check this out, right? They'll tell you about that ritual they go through that mimics that Hiram Biff's assassination.
Demise. Right.
Right. But if you ask them why they do it, they never know. They don't know why they do it. And that's kind of what I've picked up from not only things I've learned before that hour and a half documentary I watched today, before all the stuff I've kind of read and looked at. It seems like it's, and coming back actually kind of to Metal Gear, it becomes this echo of itself. Right. It's like we play phone,
or a
right?
watered down version of itself. You know what? I kind of like a mirror it with, like, for instance, when karate got first introduced here in the United States, it was a lot of kind of bullshit karate people that didn't know what the fuck they were doing. But then eventually the real karate, like the Okinawan karate, finally made its way over here. And then people started really learning karate. But at that first time, when you first start getting it, it was like when it came over, it was like a watered down version.
Yeah.
So do you think that Freemasonry now is a watered down version of what it's supposed to be?
I mean, that's not a bad analogy, but think of it more like this. Remember that game Telephone we would play as kids?
Yeah,
right?
Of course.
Where you whisper something in someone's ear and you go around the circle. By the time it got to the end, it was completely fucking different.
Yep.
That's kind of what I think happened here. You had this, you do have this, maybe you have an ability to speak to the divine. Maybe you just have a better understanding of how to understand the divine through yourself, which brings you to a higher level of consciousness, which means you can transform your energies. I don't know. I'm sounding really hippy-dippy for me right now, and I'm not comfortable with it. So we're going to bring it back now, Josh. But what I'm thinking, right, is you do have this ritual that's being done, and it's a super important ritual, but nobody knows why they're doing it, because I don't think they're where you can trace its root back ever actually got to that final 33rd level, which is why everybody's stuck at that 32nd level. Maybe the Knights Templar had that 33rd level,
Mm-hmm.
but they weren't going to share it with anybody because it made them money.
Made them money, right?
It made them money.
Yeah.
So
Sure
when
did.
they were assassinated on Friday the 13th, speaking of that, with that symbol right behind you, no, that's not.
That's not creepy at all, right here.
No, it's not weird at all. Scissors 61. Anyways, that's a real deep.
Oh boy.
Yeah,
Ooh.
right. Anyways,
Oof.
so weird, not coincidences, right?
Mhm.
If nothing happens by coincidence.
Nope.
Okay, I'm just saying.
It's true.
Although, if you do look back far enough, right? So, continuing along, you talk about how. Did you know that 9 of the 11 signers of the Declaration of Independence were all Freemasons?
Oh, yeah. That's
9
crazy.
of 11 of them.
It's crazy. It's so crazy how intertwined they are with the fabric of America.
And funny note, the very first block
Mm-hmm.
of the White House
Mm-hmm.
is missing. That's not like your car keys you misplaced. It's the first stone of the motherfucking White House.
Right.
That was put there by George Washington himself. Oh, the most infamous Freemason of them all, you say?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, that's in a lodge somewhere. Definitely. That one lodge that you don't know it's a lodge. It's this huge fucking thing. It's a lodge. You're like, what the fuck? Yeah. Again, Jay, have you ever met anybody as a Freemason?
Not that I know of.
No?
That's not a question I tend to ask, though.
Yeah, no, and it doesn't usually come up in conversation, but
No.
I've met a few in my lifetime, and I find a lot of people that are in the law enforcement industry are Freemasons, are into the Freemasonry. I find a lot of people that are in government Freemasons, as we were just talking about now. I find a lot of people that in many different aspects, just, the different industries that obviously are very important to the fabric of America. You know what I mean? Of course, like I said, law enforcement being a big one. A lot of cops I know are Freemasons. And I know because I see them with the tattoos. You're not getting a fucking Freemasonry tattoo if you're not a part of the Freemasons. I mean, you're not just doing that just to, I'm going to do some cool design on my arm. No, you put that G with that upside down, the
compass,
the compass, and
the compass and triangle,
right? And exactly. And so again, I find that they have embedded themselves in the very important parts of our society.
Well, all right. So again, right? Let's pull this all the way back. If you go back to really, so going back kind of to the Knights Templar, right?
Right.
There are some old temples in Scotland that have the divine architecture, they call it. There's a specific layout. Actually, there's 2 temples. One's in Scotland. One actually goes all the way back to King Solomon's Temple. That's right.
All right.
It's a 1/3 scale of it. If you take the one and you extend it exactly 1/3 out, they're exactly the same. No, that's not weird at all. What are you talking about?
No.
That's not strange.
No.
What are you talking about? That's not weird.
No.
No.
Right.
Just 2 of them. No,
Right.
that's not weird at all. Oh, and they both have the Knights Templar? What? That's connection? No? Huh? What? Shit. So,
yeah.
I digress.
Yeah,
so here we talk about Knights Templar
and
Catholicism having their big issues, right? Now you fast forward to these temples in Scotland having handcrafted in the stone corn, which only grows in America, friends. Only here.
Only here, right.
Well, how did that end up in Scotland hundreds of years before people came over?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's weird. That's weird.
It's amazing. It's amazing. It really
so the
is.
Knights Templar, huge in America, apparently, right? Right? So now you had the Age of Enlightenment. Benjamin Franklin, Freemason. Did you know William?
Not only was he Freemason, he was part of the Hellfire Club too.
He sure was.
Another group.
He sure was, but it was just a glorified strip club.
Yeah, that was. that was a strip club. That was an off branch strip club. That was that's exactly what it was. Yeah. Saucy.
Did you know that? So you also know that Voltaire was a Freemason.
Yes.
Okay. Did you know that Benjamin Franklin was Voltaire's hookup into the Freemason? He was like his
liaison or whatever. Yeah.
He was the one that walked him through his initiation process.
I didn't know that. Oh.
Huh. Weird, huh? Did you also know that Benjamin Franklin was the one that helped aid the revolution when we needed money and guns? He's the one that went to France and used his connections in France. What connections were those? Oh, they're all Freemasons.
Oh, yeah.
That's weird. Huh,
bro,
that's weird.
that guy was so powerful. He was so underrated.
Oh my God.
So underrated.
Weird how he was never president though.
Right. And all he's known for is, the key and the kite. Oh, you did a lot more than that, my friends.
Bifocals.
Yeah, bifocals.
Washing machine.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. So
ladies, man.
Benjamin Franklin, right, goes and makes sure that all these foreign generals, and there was one actually came from Bavaria. There was a Freemason that led troops in a revolt here on American soil.
Amazing.
All falling under George Washington. Again, maybe the most famous Freemason of them all.
Mm-hmm.
And what's interesting about really kind of all that wrapped up, right, is the Freemasons in the Age of Enlightenment is really when they it's America and the Age of Enlightenment for the Freemasons seem to run kind of coincide. Ben Franklin, Washington, Jefferson, so on and so forth.
Right.
If you look at our documents, if you look at how Washington, D.C. is set up, now, if you look too deep, you'll go crazy and you'll see like pentagrams and such. But if you keep a perspective and you keep some touch, just a little bit touch with reality, with an understanding that our government will fuck you at every turn, you will see that there is Freemasonry everywhere in Washington.
Yeah, it's in the dollar bill. I mean, if you look at the dollar bill, you know, the all-seeing eyes right there. Yeah. Pyramid. It's all there. Yeah.
Pyramid.
Where
did this start? The Pharaoh's son.
Pharaoh's, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, it's the Pharaoh's son.
Because always comes back full circle, my friend. Right? You always have to pay homage to the OGs, right? What are you going to put it on? What are you going to put it on? You're going to put it on your fucking money.
I mean,
right?
Gee, it's on the $1 bill.
The most circulated bill of them all.
Right?
Right. Yeah.
Don't put me on the biggest one. Put me on the one that's used the most.
That's right. Yeah. Fuck the Benjamin one. Yeah. Yeah. I want the dollar bill with George Washington on it because he's the original.
But okay. All right. Now I'm going to put on a tinfoil hat. I'm sorry. Who's on the $100 bill?
Who is on the 100? Oh, Ben, right? Benny. Yeah. Benjamin himself.
This major Mason that we're talking about that kind of manipulated things. And what are we talking about? You want to be Washington, who's getting the most circulated. You don't want to be the $100 bill, the guy that nobody ever sees and nobody.
But which one's the most glorified one? Think about it in movies. What do you always see stacks of, right? Well, you see thousands. You always see the Benjamins, right? That's the most coveted, right? Even though it's not the most circulated, but it is the most coveted. It is. So it's amazing. No?
It's crazy. I mean, and the parallels that you find through, and again, right? You have the church chasing down the Freemasons. When the Freemasons, if you actually kind of get into it now, any religion that's into geometry this much, I'm out.
Right. Yeah.
I don't do that kind of math.
Yeah, no, they literally their rooms are divided. Math. Yeah, they're divided.
Math.
It's like perfect.
Everything.
Everything.
Everything
is everything. Yeah.
Mad.
I know. It's crazy.
I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm out. But they're open to multiple religions. They talk about a divine and a creator. They never say a god or anything like that. So they actually, for a secret society, they're actually kind of open and inclusive, which is weird for a secret society, isn't it?
And they're the oldest and they're the most progressive.
And they are the world's oldest.
Right. That's usually
weird,
not the case
huh?
in any instance. Think about it.
In any
When are you the
instance.
oldest in anything and the most progressive at the same time? Usually that never happens, ever.
Weird.
Yeah. Yeah.
Weird. So
Weird.
there might be a little something there. There might be a little something there.
I don't know. We might have to get a little deeper dive in the Freemasons, bro. Get a Freemason on the podcast and maybe he could tell us some secrets,
I would
or
love
maybe
it.
in private.
I would love that. I would love that too. But again, how high are we gonna get? We're gonna get to the 32nd level.
That's it. That's where everybody's at, brother. You can't get past
You know what it kind of reminds me of though?
What's that?
You're the one to let's put a bow tie on it.
What's that?
Freemasons like this, right? You know who my all-time favorite football player is?
Yeah, Jerry Rice.
No.
Oh, Joe Montana.
No.
Oh, okay. Who?
I'm hurt now.
Oh,
Steve Young.
God. Steve Young. Okay.
Steve Young.
Yeah,
Perennial
this was a
number
minor.
2, left-handed quarterback.
Okay.
But yes, 49er. Anyways, before every game, he watched City Slickers.
Okay. Yeah.
Jack Pence movie.
Right.
One thing, William.
What's that?
You remember that one thing he talked about? Everybody,
God damn, it's been so long since
he's got to
I've seen
find that one thing
movie.
in life.
No.
So Jack Pence's whole thing, he tells Billy Crystal, who's trying to figure out his whole life because, oh my God, he's turning 35 and had a stable job and a good-looking wife and a nice house. And oh my God, white people problems.
Right.
So he goes out on this adventure with his buddies trying to find his testosterone or whatever, and ends up meeting Jack Pence, who in this movie is this cattle rancher. And Jack Pence goes around this whole time talking about this one thing. And finally, Billy Crystal goes, "What is this one thing you're talking about?" He goes, "Well, that's the thing. It's one thing it's different for everybody. I know that one thing for me." He goes, "But what's that one thing for you?"
Right.
So there may have been a secret to talk to the divine, and there may not be. And maybe it is math. And if it is math, then I'm never going to talk to them because I'm really bad at it. But
yeah.
I think that 33rd level at this point is supposed to represent you finding a way to become your best version of yourself. That's what it kind of seems to all boil down to. So they might seem nefarious, but at the end of the day, it just seems like a bunch of guys who want to get together and really kind of root you on. And they don't really know why they do that stuff that they do.
It's weird. Yeah, I know. And what I want to talk about now is kind of the same thing. Like, it's kind of like a glorified, social club in a way. You know what I mean? That
George
does,
Bush.
yeah. Oh, yeah, we're gonna get into all that, but yeah. That's a good wrap up though of the Freemasons, Jay. I think we're gonna have to get a Freemason on the podcast. I'm convinced.
I would love it.
Yeah, I think that'd be. We actually did have a Freemason on the podcast talk about Hollywood symbology. Robert Sullivan. I gotta reach out to him, see if he's willing to come on the podcast and actually talk Freemason talk. So we'll see about
That'd be
that.
cool.
So that'd be cool. All right, Jay. Well, I will be talking about tonight the one of the OGs when it comes to secret societies, at least here in America, as is concerned, which is the Skull and Bones Society. And it's a society pretty well known here in the United States by people that kind of follow that stuff. But it's also known as the Order or Order 322 or the Brotherhood of Death. That's actually some of the monikers that they've had here. But it's an undergraduate senior secret society at Yale University in New Haven, Connecticut. It's actually the oldest senior society of the university. Skull and Bones has become basically a cultural institution, Jay, since its inception back in the late 1800s. So this has been going on for quite some time here at Yale. It's basically one of the big three secret societies there at Yale. There's also the Scroll and Key, and also the Wolf's Head. That's also another one I never even knew about. But the members of the secret Skull and Bone Society, they're also known as Bonesmen. That's what they're known as. So yeah, I didn't know that either. But a lot of famous people have been a part of it. Oh, hey, I'm a Bonesman. But considered to be one of the most prestigious secret societies out there to date, Jay, really honestly. By many former members have gone to occupy the positions of power in American society, including 3 who became presidents of the United States. So again, we're talking about that same type of,
Well, 2 of them are from one family.
But yeah, you're right.
All right.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
2 are from one family. I'm just saying.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
But
legacy.
Still.
Right.
3
Legacy.
Still. Yeah,
legacy. All W wanted to do was drink beer, do some blow. Okay. and hang out with chicks.
I want to do some cocaine.
I'm saying. And he's a guy from Connecticut who has a
I met him
Texas
before,
accent,
right?
okay?
I got a picture with the guy. You know that?
Do you?
Yeah, I met him before. You know that?
That's fantastic. That's fantastic.
Fucking funny guy.
I'm sure.
Guy.
Listen,
Hilarious.
he was the president you wanted to have a beer with.
Yes.
Nobody hated him because he was maliciously not like anything since we've had. We would love to have him back now.
Yeah, right.
He should run again.
Oh, he would fucking kill it if he came back.
Oh my god!
If he could come back,
please
for one
just
more,
be dumb again. That's all we need.
Everybody would vote for him. Everybody would vote for him.
Right?
Everybody would vote for him. It's amazing. But yeah, he's one of the most well-known, obviously. His father, also Herbert Walker Bush, daddy, who was part of the CIA, who ran the CIA for many years, too. So, again, putting these people in positions of power in society. That's what a lot of these secret societies do. So, they really kind of work on the almost level of fraternity of the social elites. That's kind of what it is. That's what's kind of like known as, and
it's pre-occult,
right? It's pretty. It's like
pre-occult,
pre-law school, right? Pre-law school, right?
Yeah, like you send the kids to preschool so they can learn their ABCs and their 1, 2, 3s, right? You can't send them just off to elementary school, right? Because then they get shivved in the cafeteria and they don't know why. Right, you got to start that stuff at preschool. So before you can go to occult status, before you can graduate to become a Freemason, you got to go through some pre-occult stuff. Got to do the macrame.
These are the training wheels. Yeah, the beginning. Yeah. This is the paint by numbers of the secret society starting here.
Yeah,
right. So it looks like annually every year, 15 members of the junior class join the society. They're picked. Basically, there is a day called Tap Day, and that day you're tapped, quote unquote, to be a part of the society. There's a lot of weird stuff, though, Jay, when it comes to some of the initiation processes or processes.
Here we go. Here we go.
But Jay, there's a lot of butt stuff happening.
I was just gonna say you might want to sit down, friends.
No, you may not want to sit down. You might want to look before you sit down because there's a lot of butt stuff happening.
No, you want to sit down and block it.
Yeah.
Sit down before somebody puts something down on you.
Yeah, you better. Right. Yeah. So there's a lot of weird initiation things happening, Jay. I'll leave it at that.
He didn't frame it like he framed it earlier, guys. He's like, oh, I don't know, white people and their butt stuff. That's what he was saying. His words. And true. I quote, white people and butt stuff.
Hey, man, I'm just pointing out the obvious here.
Oh, are you? Are you pointing out the obvious? Because Jennifer Lopez didn't insure her butt.
Oh, well, that's true, too. But again, a lot of the people that are in this particular secret society are white Protestant males. I mean, that's just what they have in there. They really
okay. So what you're saying is guys like butt.
I don't know, or at least they like making
white
fun
guys,
of things
brown
that go in your
guys,
butt.
yellow guys. We all like butts, bro. I don't know why. I don't know. Even aliens like the butt. Let's just be real.
That is true. There's a lot of probing going on in the alien community, right?
I'm just saying. It's
a lot of probing.
Anybody who tells you they're not an ass man is a fucking liar. Wow, we're on YouTube.
Wow. Listen, we're going deep tonight.
Yeah, in the butt.
Right? Oh, Lord. But so, like I said, Jay, the membership was almost exclusively limited to white Protestant males for much of its history. While Yale, had exclusionary policies directed at particular ethnic and religious groups, the secret society and the senior members were more exclusionary in that process. So, there were some Catholics that were able to join the groups, not so many Jews, unfortunately. So the Jews weren't really well received in that
Better for
realm.
them, man.
Huh?
Better for them.
Yeah, that's probably the best thing for them anyway. You know what? I read a very interesting fact about Jews. There's more Jewish people that have won the Nobel Peace Prize than any other.
Yep.
Yeah, I did. I was amazed, and it's like by a substantial amount.
It's leaps and bounds.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah. It's crazy. But I found that out.
Man, but the Jews are great people.
Yeah, no, they smart.
Married one. I love her to death. She's the best person I've ever met in my life.
There you go. See? That's what we would call covering your ass, ladies and gentlemen.
True speak.
That's true speak. It's true speak.
It's true speak.
But yeah, Jay, the Skull and Bones, the society that's happening at Yale, it's happening
Scary
still to
white
this
people
day.
shit.
Yeah, it's scary stuff though. It is kind of scary because some of
those hazing rituals.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So now you take something from like we're talking about like the Freemasons,
right?
Whose ritual it mimics an assassination and death, but it's harmless.
Right.
Nothing they do is really harmful. You might be concerned because it seems like a lot of them are in high positions of power or law enforcement, but these like the skull and crossbones, like people have died going through their processes.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, it's really well documented that some of the things that they've done, especially in the area where they call the tomb, which is their area, it's a specific area that they built for them, and that's where they gather. It's a really interesting place because that's where they do a lot of the rituals. They'll bury people alive. They'll make people go in a casket with another, skeleton, in there. So there's a lot of, you said, like what you said, Jay, a lot of very kind of like juvenile.
I don't get it.
Very kind of juvenile, right? In a way, right?
William,
it's like stuff.
I don't get it.
Yeah. I don't
Brother,
get it.
I don't get it.
Like
maybe it's
if
just
I
me.
was going to come up with a secret society right now, let's just say me and you, let's just say, right? We'll call it XYZ Secret Society.
Yeah.
I can tell you that the ritual to join in is not going to be you getting in a casket and being buried alive.
No.
I mean, that's the last thing I'm going to be thinking of.
No, and I can tell you this also: if you were to start your own little cult, your own little secret society, and that was one of the rituals, I can also tell you, I would tell you exactly where you could pound that sand.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I mean,
you're not burying me alive. No,
I'm burying me alive. No, that's crazy.
No,
I mean,
screw you.
That's what I'm saying. So a lot of these rituals are very juvenile in a way, but are, kind of in a way to kind of show you what fear is about and to always have that fear, because these people are very powerful people, Jay. I mean, there's been a lot of people that have come out of the Skull and Bones society that have a lot of influence. Let's talk about some of those people. Let's go to that real quick. We got William Howard Taft, class of 1878, who ended up being president, of course, of the United States.
Heaviest president of all time.
Yep. A lot of people would say that. Yeah. Taft also received the honorary title of Magog, which is basically meaning that he had the most sexual experience while he was in the secret club. So they
also got stuck in a bathtub
or stuck somewhere else.
In the butt.
In the butt. Young Taft probably found interest in the club rather easily. His father was a former attorney general, Alfonso Taft, and co-founded Skull and Bones as a Yale student in 1832. So William Howard Taft's father basically co-founded the Skull and Bones. There you go. Of course,
sounds about right.
Yeah, and then of course you're going to get your son in there, right? Of course not.
We talked about that.
Right. Walter Camp, class of 1880, known as the father of American football. Camp was with other classmates to develop the game from the Brits version of rugby. He played in the first rugby game at Yale against Harvard in 1876. Camp created many of the modern football's rules, such as assessment of points and limiting the field team to 11 men per side. But mostly importantly, he brought the organization and his team to the game, serving the rules and committee until his death. Camp has also established the National College Athletic Association, so the NCAA, still operating today since World War I. That's when he started it. So this guy's very prominent. I mean, very well known into the fabric of course, Americana, coming up with football, right? What is
only every kid that goes to college,
right? What's more American than football? Right? Not much, So,
not much, man. Not much. So
nice. Another, of course, very influential person. Another guy, Lyman Spitzer, class of 1935, a noted astrophysicist. Spitzer dreamed up the idea behind the Hubble Space Telescope. He the first method observed space uninhibited by Earth's atmosphere. He also lobbied NASA and Congress for the funds to oversee the production of the actual machine. After 44 years, NASA launched the Hubble into space, and the Hubble remains there today, providing stunning images of the universe and making new discoveries. NASA named the Spitzer Space Telescope in his honor. So again, another guy, a fucking astrophysicist, coming up with the Hubble telescope idea. McGeorge Bundy, class of 1940, before becoming JFK's wiseman, one of his wisemen, as they say. Bundy may have relied on his big brother to help him get into the Skull and Bones, William Bundy, who also graduated to the class earlier and went on to serve as the State Department's liaison official, notably during the Bay of Pigs invasion. Odin, as he was known from his fellow bonesmen, left a mark on the world through potentially, but not all positive. Let's see here. He was also policies. He enacted some policies during the Vietnam War, which shouldn't have been there, and just made that whole thing last longer. So he just ended up being a bad guy.
Well, I mean, listen, all right, on that one,
right?
Okay, you go to the very top of the chain.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
I mean, Watergate. Okay.
Watergate. Right.
Right. Nixon. I mean, Nixon had a deal with Vietnam that we would keep the war going.
Right.
But then was telling everybody else, no, we're trying to get out of the war. So yeah, anything having to do with Vietnam and backdoor deals, I just kind of figure everybody's like, oh, the guy at the top can do it, so can we, right?
That's right.
Right?
Yeah.
Right.
You're 100% right, Jay. Exactly.
So-
And again, George Herbert Walker Bush, class of 1948, of course known as
the president you like to have a beer with.
Yep. President. What was it? What beer was it? He said. I forget. Anyways, but yeah,
Bud
director
Light.
of the CIA. No, Bud Light, right? Director of the CIA, pilot in World War II. I mean, he was vice president to Ronald Reagan. President during the Cold War. He was of course a part of Operation Desert Storm. Remember?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So a lot of things happened with him in power. He had a lot of working parts. He had a lot of power, of course, being with the CIA and running the CIA for that many years. So he was actually there when JFK got shot. A lot of people don't know that, but he was there. Another guy, William Buckley Jr., class of 1950, known for his outspokenness and his transatlantic accent. Buckley was symbolized the most conservative brand of politics. At Yale, he acted as the chairman of the Yale Daily News and was a member of the debate team. And he founded the political magazine, The National Review, which is still in production to today. So again, we're talking about a guy who came up with
Information.
Propaganda.
Information.
Yeah, propaganda. That's what that is. The propaganda machine. John F. Kerry, of course, class of 1966, almost became president. He ran for president. Very close. Former Secretary of State, Senator of Massachusetts, spent his childhood abroad during his diplomat father before attending Yale and gaining membership in the Skull and Bones. While at Yale, he served as president of the Yale Political Union. Although his candidacy in 2004 presidential race didn't end out quite well, the same. Everybody knows about him. This is really kind of easy figure to.
He's Kennedy.
Yeah, exactly.
And if one was, they all was.
Right. Frederick Wallace Smith, class of 1966. Smith, often forgotten, kind of a forgotten bonesman. He founded FedEx, Jay.
How about that?
How about that? One of the two giants of tracking and shipping and logistics of anything and everything, right?
I mean,
that's pretty fucking powerful if you ask me.
It's a big one.
That's a big one, right? So that's another one. George Bush Jr., or George W. Bush, class of 1968. I mean, come on, what can be said about the guy? You haven't lived in modern times.
Listen, when you've had Will Ferrell write a one-man show based on your job, you did it.
You did it.
Yeah. You made it.
Yep. Next guy, Stephen Schwartzman, class of 1969. Schwartzman was a year behind George W. Bush, came to prominence under the future president's administration when his hedge fund, the Blackstone Group, if you guys don't know what the Blackstone Group, look it up. They're probably the most wealthiest public equity or private equity firms in all of the world. It's Vanguard,
it's
Blackstone. Yeah, it's Vanguard, Blackstone, and another one out there, that State Street. Those three basically run everything. They own everything, and that's how it is. So another fucking Skull and Bones guy. Last guy I want to mention, Steve Blunchin, class of 1985. Blunchin, of course, was the bozeman on the list, current U.S. Secretary of Treasury. Got his bachelor's degree in Yale, stayed with the bank with Goldman Sachs for 17 years, and then became its chief information officer. So making a lot of money. Goldman Sachs, of course, well known for being at the very, very top of banking. So there you go, Jay. That's the skull and bones, man. And, again, a lot of just, weirdness going on, but a lot of people that have very prominent positions in society that come out of this club.
I mean, so, and when you start talking about like the secret societies, you talk about people in power. When you talk about like the Freemasons, you go back to talking about the revolutionary, the our forefathers of this country trying to actually break away from what was considered to be. I mean, we that was where the whole separation of church and state actually came, was from the Freemasons, right? When you go to the skull and crossbones, a lot of things they do are dark and nasty. But again, I don't think they know why they do them. But somebody did them to them, so they're going to do them to someone else. It's the Big Brother mentality.
Right.
But on the flip side, right, power tends to attract power. So these people and these families tend to interact a lot, just like royalty used to do back in the days of yore, right? Because you can only hang out with people that you can only kind of hang out with.
Yeah, that's why they call it a society, even though it may be secret. It is a society of like-minded or like people, right? So that's what it's all about.
Yep.
Well, yeah, it's interesting stuff, Jay. Again, there's so many other ones out there. It's like a plethora of secret societies out there. I mean, there's so many out there. I mean, we'll get into some more maybe on another episode, maybe do a part 2 of that. But I think that's a good wrap up for tonight and talking about, secret societies. Again, Jay, if you were ever offered a position in a secret society, would you take it? No, you couldn't do it. No.
I am the worst liar on the planet. Telling you about that whole door shutting on its own thing.
Yeah.
Right. My wife scurries over by kind of behind my son, and they're looking at me, and so I walk over, and
waiting for you to do something. Like, what the fuck am I going to do? Right.
I'm right. You can't double like a ghost. I talk about it all the time.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. I walk over, and I just open the door.
Yeah.
As if I'm expecting to see something on the other side. And my wife goes, there wasn't anybody there. All three of us are out here. I was like, I know. So I opened the door because if something was going to happen, that's what was going to happen.
Yeah.
And my son goes, that's kind of direct, Dad. And I was like, it's kind of how I handle things.
Right.
I tend to is there a problem? Because it's right here. We don't need to go all around probably. We can right here. We can cut out the middleman. Let's get to the process. Yeah, I got shit to do, right?
Right.
Even if you're gonna beat me
if you're gonna possess somebody, possess me now, goddamn.
Well, easy on that one, okay?
Oh yeah.
We don't have to get there at all. Okay. Again, we know who's doing what.
Right.
My point.
Dad's having a good time.
Dad's always having a good time because Dad likes a good time. But my point remains: I could never be in a secret society because I'm far too direct.
Gotcha.
No manipulation here.
There you go. All right, that's a good wrap up for tonight, Jay. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Again, everybody, you can listen to our stuff at darkfringeradio.com. Make sure you go ahead and support the podcast. We really need your support. We really appreciate it. If you can, watch us on the website, and if not, on YouTube, of course, at Dark Fringe Radio. Make sure you check us out there. And that's pretty much it. I bid you guys adieu. And anything else before we say goodnight, Jay?
With everything going on in the world, friends, keep this in mind. We only have one planet, and we should all get along on it because there's just only so much space for all of us. So, do what you do, like what you like, be who you are. Just you don't need to be a dick to everybody around you.
And by the way, everybody, slow the fuck down and have some little patience. This week, it's been crazy on the road, bro. Bro, it's been crazy on the road. People are beeping, honking, yelling, and stuff like. Slow down. Everybody's going to get to where they're going to get. It's all good. Just be careful. You want to arrive there in
alive
person, or do you want to end up in a body bag? Which one is it going to be? You know what I mean? I mean, it's just not good. So just slow down, relax. It's all good. But yeah, chill. Anyways, thanks so much, Jay, for another edition and episode of Dark Fringe Radio. Again, check us out, darkfringeradio.com, and we'll see you guys again next week.
Dark Fringe Radio, your premier source for the paranormal, conspiracy theory, and true crime.